But this is the part of the show where we normally do the worst caller segment of the week, where we pick 2 horrible phone calls and we kind of vote on who's the worst call of the week. Well, today we're going to do basically the worst hate email of the week.
Have a great Friday, you mother.
That's right. This is email we get from people that say bad things about us and complain about us, and we figured our producer extraordinaire, who loves bringing us negative news, that would be Jason Stein, is going to be reading some of those emails for us today. What are you doing this weekend, by the way, Mr. Stein? What do you got going on? I want to know, what in the mind of your head, what are you doing this weekend?
I bought a bag of Bugles.
Oh, that's
at
cool.
the grocery store, so I'm gonna tear into those.
Wait, what kind?
I gotta
Ranch?
tell you,
No,
Ranch?
Original.
Oh, wow.
You
went with the original.
I like to put them on my fingers.
I believe that.
Hello?
Actually, I believe that. One of the most depressing responses I've heard.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Ever for a weekend.
Bugles.
What are you doing this weekend?
It's a bugle weekend.
I bought a bag of Bugles.
I'm gonna put Bugles on my fingers and lick them off.
I hate my life, and I blame you both.
Personally, I think you're a sexual deviant, Brian.
I am a sexual deviant, and I'll be putting that to work this weekend. All right, so Stein, well, it's the weekend.
JD's in a good mood today. I like this. I like this JD.
I don't understand. He's laughing a lot.
I got a good amount of sleep last night.
Bipolar.
He was in a horrendous mood yesterday. Horrendous mood yesterday.
So mad yesterday.
He's well
so
rested.
Angry.
It's been a good day.
He snapped at Stein.
Solid day.
So quickly before we do the email, Stein walks in the studio on one of our breaks and goes, "JD, I'll make you a $500 bet that I forgot what it was even about."
It was about who would win the state of Nevada.
And JD just lost his mind, and just like they were yelling at. I'm telling you, if we had a camera in between breaks, people would understand that the animosity on the air is real, and what happened yesterday was a perfect example of that. But anyway, speaking of animosity,
real and raw.
Yes, real and raw
and relevant.
Our show is real, raw, and relevant. You're right. Okay, so Stein, speaking of real, raw, and relevant, give us some of that hate mail. What do we got going on?
Sure. This comes from Rob Clary, and he sent us a note with regard to Dory Munson. If you don't know who that is, we were talking about him earlier in the week. He's a Seattle talk show host, a conservative Seattle talk show host who also works on the Seahawks. Seahawks broadcasts. And he got suspended by the company over a tweet that he made that dealt with transgender issues. And so Rob wanted to write about that, and he said, "You guys need to pull your head out of your asses." Okay, then he goes on a long rant about Dory Munson and what really, in his opinion, happened. And then he says, "You are the problem with media these days. Try getting all your facts together before making your reports like a real journalist would. Real journalists..."
Section 5.20.
Thank you. Thank you, crazy lady. Real journalists report unbiased facts and let people decide. Yes, Dory leans to the right, but he will always bring the facts and welcomes debates on the other side, unlike most of the media that only focuses on what crybabies on the left want to show.
First of all, you dope, we're not journalists, okay? We don't do reports on our show. You don't even know what you're talking about. A 5-year-old knows more about radio than you. We are talk show hosts. We are opinionated talk show hosts. I was a reporter for 10 years, okay? When I was a reporter, I wouldn't do a report and call Donald Trump an orange turd because I was a reporter. But if I'm a talk show host, it's different. We're also not journalists. We talk about stories. We share our opinions, you dope. And I, by the way, I stand by everything I said about Dory Munson. He was very nice to me. Yes, he did apologize the next day, but the reason why he apologized, and I guarantee you this is the reason, is not because he felt sorry for what he did. It's because management told him to apologize, and then they suspended him for 2 weeks. I stand by everything I said about Dory Munson. That's it.
Wait, so that's an actual email?
Yeah, that's an email.
Wow.
Next.
There was more, but for the sake of time and
next, we got 4 minutes.
I had to cut it down.
What's next?
Have a great Friday, you mother.
I like that interlude.
Go ahead.
Do that every time, Sean.
What's next?
Next comes from Patrick Vogel. And Patrick writes, as a new listener
I like how you're giving their full name out, by the way.
Well, you know.
Well, let's just go with the V.
Well, when you write us an email, there's
you know what?
The confidentiality is out the window.
That's true.
I suppose.
Okay, go ahead. What's next?
Patrick Vogel
Patrick
writes,
Vogel.
as a new...
I'm going to search him on Facebook.
Resident of a 2020 South Hualapai Road.
He's a member of the Boogaloos. All right, go ahead.
I don't have that information, but Patrick writes, as a new listener to 101.5, I absolutely hate listening to the cast on your show. The cast.
The cast. What is this, Beverly Hills 90210?
They argue and talk over each other with no logic. They treat the callers with little to no respect.
Well,
and I
that's-
turned the
that's-
radio off.
Oh, jeez.
Have a great Friday, you mother.
That's it? That's all you got?
By the
No,
way,
I got more.
Oh, you got more.
But that's all for Patrick.
Patrick,
Oh, okay.
I do treat the guests with respect. I cannot say the same about, and
Not all the
I
time.
try to do it 98% of the time.
He definitely
Brian's
treats
more like
he
52%.
definitely treats the callers more respect than he treats you and me, Stein. There's no question about that. All right, go
This
ahead,
next one is very quick and to the point. It's from Nate Sorensen. He writes, Biden won't just beat Trump, he'll crush him, you moronic F word.
Have a great Friday, you mother.
Boy, who was that made that call, by the way?
That was Nate Sorensen.
Nate Sorensen.
Yeah,
Wow.
and he was talking to me. And
Was he talking to you? I don't know.
Well, yeah.
We called you a moron.
He called me a moron, and then he called me the F word, didn't he?
Wow.
Well, no, he's saying, oh, okay, yeah, Biden won't just beat Trump. Okay, well, I
yeah.
guess he's talking to you.
Yeah, he's definitely talking to
Oh,
me.
yeah, okay.
And
Hello?
I'll tell you this: the polls show something different. But right now, Donald Trump is looking good in the swing states that he needs to win the election.
Anything else,
That's all I'm
Stein,
gonna
for
say.
us?
Well,
Anything
thank you
else?
for the email, Nate. You could have called in and said that, too.
Yeah, feel free.
We could have, yeah.
And lastly, do we have
We have
a couple
enough
minutes
time.
here, Sean?
Yeah, we go ahead.
Okay, good. This one's a little longer, but
About
I'll,
as long as your dates last.
but I'll summarize it real
Yes.
quick. Vincent Petrillo. Petrillo?
I don't know.
How's
Who cares?
how's it spelled, Stein?
Petrillo.
Petrillo.
Petrillo, yeah.
Petrillo. Yeah.
Who cares?
Vincent Petrillo writes, please
I bet
forward
Vincent cares, Brian.
this to JD and BS.
BS.
That's you. JD, please keep being a class act.
Have a great Friday, you mother.
I have spent money advertising on your company's platform, and today, meaning yesterday, when I called the Vegas take, I was taunted by BS for stuttering. I don't stutter, but I was a little nervous. I'm not going to be a victim. However, I would like to finish my point with BS. You should not treat previous customers and possible future customers like that. Because BS was losing the argument, he went into attack mode. And then he goes on and on and on about some diatribe about Russia for several paragraphs.
Not like we care.
And then he writes,
Like anybody
Well,
cares.
I can actually. This actually happened yesterday.
Yeah, I remember.
You were like, and I was
Well,
like,
here's
hey,
why I did that.
I called you a 5-year-old girl.
Okay, so here's why I did that.
said,
Hold on. Can I respond?
And I said, stop.
Okay,
I
so
said,
can I
stop,
respond?
Stop making fun of our callers who are not as skilled on air
Okay.
and as order
First
as
of
you
all,
and I are.
Let me respond.
So you're
because-
welcome for standing up for you, Vincent.
Okay,
I'll do it
so,
again.
So let me respond to this idiot because that's who I think he is. I
Have
think
a great
he's a
Friday,
moron.
you mother.
First of all, I attack people who go after Joe Biden for his stuttering issue. This man doesn't have a stutter. It was one of those moments that was not mocking somebody for stuttering. It was mocking somebody because I stumped him with a question and there was radio silence and he couldn't come up with an answer. That's exactly what I was doing. Now, here's
No,
the thing.
He was trying to come up with an answer, Brian, but he couldn't.
That's exactly
Okay.
right.
couldn't
Okay,
create
so-
the answer
so
properly
here's the
with
thing.
his mouth.
Here's the thing.
Because he's not overly
Yes,
experienced
I
in
know.
this.
Well, I've
like
heard
you and I are.
I've heard that you can't properly do things with your mouth because you're not experienced, but you don't hear me talking about that on the radio. That's another story for another show.
Doesn't make any sense.
It makes complete
makes no
sense.
sense.
so Vince says, I would like to challenge
Makes
BS to
complete
a
sense.
debate, and all I would need is a laptop and an hour
Yeah.
to show he's wrong
Well,
about
you know what?
50% of things he blurts out.
Yep.
I am worried that the audience does not know significant things happening in our country, and I'm trying to inform.
Well, I'll tell you something. He certainly sounds like a master debater.
I like
so
you,
I
Vincent.
certainly,
I like you a lot.
yeah. So if here's the thing, folks, if you're going to call into a show without a stuttering problem, this man openly admitted he doesn't have a stutter. He's nervous, and you can't put two coherent sentences together. Then don't call into a radio show because I'm going to mock you. Okay, and first of all, well, I shouldn't say first of all. I've already named a bunch of other things, but if you're going to call into a show and you're going to try to educate our listeners, we don't want you. We don't need you to educate our listeners.
Would you ask Donald Trump to apologize if he chastised someone for stuttering or if he mocked somebody for stuttering?
If he knew
I
that,
feel like you would.
Okay, so you're obviously not understanding. So
No,
I'll
I
explain
get
it
you.
again.
I get you, Brian.
If you,
well, you're
first
spinning.
of all,
You're,
this
you're,
man,
you're spinning
no,
the fact that
not
you were
spinning at
that
all.
you were
We have 30
absolutely
seconds. We have 30
mocking
seconds.
him for
No,
stuttering.
Absolutely not.
You were.
No, absolutely not. And you're not
It's okay
understanding.
to admit it,
okay,
Brian.
so first of all, I'll say it again because you're not understanding what I'm saying. Every day you don't understand my points. I'm not surprised. He just openly said he didn't have a stuttering problem. He said he was nervous. If I believe that somebody has a stuttering problem, I'm not going to make fun of them because of that. I'm going to make fun of them because they can't put two sentences together on the air. He openly admitted he was nervous. But we got to go, everybody. Thanks for the hate mail. We appreciate that. Thank you for the education.